A few years ago, this '03 Mustang GT showed up in town. It had California license plates on it, and I noticed it was parked near the college. So I assumed it was a college student who was visiting and getting their degree here in town. It's very common for out-of-state people to live close to the college, and there's a lot of homes that are rented out there. And I thought it was somebody's car who was going to college, and I kept my eye on it. I would see it here and there, and I noticed what house it lived at, and I saw it parked in front of that house. And after a little while, I noticed it had a abandoned sticker on the driver's side window. It's an orange sticker that the police put on the car that say you have 24 hours to move the car or it's going to be impounded. And then I noticed that the car had been moved to the side yard, and it was parked next to this bumper pull RV trailer, and it's been there ever since. It's actually been sitting there for a couple of years now. So I kept my eye on the car, and I would always look to see if it ever got listed for sale or if it had a for sale sign on it. And sure enough, a couple days ago it went up for sale. And so I went and checked it out, and the whole front end of the car is peeling the paint. The rest of the paint is pretty good. The back bumper is peeling too. The interior is in really nice shape. Black leather, black dash. I really like it. Midnight black is what it would be called. And I went and looked at it, and I asked them questions about the car. I said, well, what's wrong with it? And they said, the engine doesn't work. And I said, well, does it crank? Does it pull? Like, can I start it? Can I drive it home? And they said, the engine doesn't work. And I said, well, is the battery okay? Like, will it start? Can I drive it across town? I don't care if the engine has a problem. I just want to know if I can drive it across town to get it home. And they didn't really know. So I said, you know what, I'll come check it out. I'll get my tools and I'll come see it. I know where it is. I didn't even have to ask them where the address was because I obviously knew where the car lived. So I went quickly, and it was kind of a big shuffle. I took the kids and my wife. I said, let's go. We'll go get something to eat, and we'll go check out this GT. And so I got there, opened the hood, checked it out, and right when I was looking at the firewall area of the engine, you could see some orange color. The guy told me that it had a blown head gasket, and that's why it's been parked. So I pulled the dipstick out, and it was just gross. So I know that this engine is pretty much done for. And so I tried to put jumper cables on it because he had a battery, but it was dead. And I put jumper cables on it with my Tahoe, and it wouldn't crank at all. It would just click. And I could see the Tahoe struggling when I would try that. So I thought, you know what, let's take off the serpentine belt and let's rotate the crank and see. And because I didn't care if it had a blown head gasket, I didn't care. I was just going to drive it home and put a new engine in it probably. So I took off the serpentine belt and I put a breaker bar on the crank, and it would not turn over. It was completely locked up. So I'm assuming it's hydrolocked from the blown head gasket, or there's probably coolant in the cylinders from the head gasket and it's rusted. But no matter what's wrong with it, the point is I couldn't drive it home, so I decided I'd come back with a tow rope and just do what I did with my black 97 GT. I just decided I'd pull it home, and I tested the parking brake, and it was just right. And this driveway, with this dip where the back wheels are, it was almost impossible to push this car out of the driveway. But I did test the parking brake, and it worked really nice. It was actually a very, very nice firm parking brake. It clicked nicely, even though I knew I'd be holding the button down and using it to keep tension on the tow rope. So I came back with more tools and the tow rope, and my mom was available to help pull me in the GT, so I let her drive the Tahoe just like she did with the black GT when we brought it home. If you haven't seen that video with the 97 GT, she helped tow the car home, and that was great. So I was able to drive it home. I took the battery out of the black GT so that I would have hazard lights for towing it, and it was good to tow it at night because there was less traffic, and it was about 20 minutes away, going as slow as we did to get it home. But I did buy it. I got the title, I bought him the cash, and I towed the car home. I wanted to get some more footage, but my phone died. There was just no battery left on my phone, and so I apologize that I didn't get more fun footage of actually pulling it in front of the house and then rolling it back into this spot, which is actually the same spot that I had the 97 GT when I brought it home with a bad engine. So here's just a little night walk around. You can tell it has some things done to it. And I want you to put in the comments what you think the first thing I'm going to change on this car is. There's one thing that I could not stand, and the next day I went and bought something for this car. So I want you to put in the comments what you think it is, and I will have that update video coming up. So pretty cool car. I can tell that the front end has been repainted and the bumpers on the back bumper has been repainted. So it has a cheap paint job that's obviously flaking clear coat off. So this is just me untying the tow rope and getting it home, and I was just really excited to get another New Edge Mustang GT. You never know what I'm gonna buy. You know it's gonna be a Mustang. I've looked at other cars too, but you know how I love these cars, and when I see a GT like this as an opportunity, I gotta buy it. So I'm just really excited. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I definitely am going to get it running again first. So there are a few cosmetic things that I'm going to change right away, and the engine is definitely something that I need to get replaced. Now this is my 16th Mustang, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to go over each of my Mustangs. For those of you who are new to the channel, those of you who have been following for a while and don't know all the Mustangs I've had, I do have stories about most of these cars already, but some of them are going to be a very long process of making the story because these cars are very special to me. So I thought it'd be cool to do that real quick. So in this picture you can see there are two identical laser red Mustangs, 1997 V6 Mustangs. The one farther away in the picture is Danny Johnson, my twin brother's car, and mine is the one in the foreground. And so if you actually count Danny Johnson's Mustang as the car that we shared, that really was our very first Mustang. That means I've had 17 Mustangs. But my actual first Mustang is this 97 laser red V6 5-speed car. I put dual exhaust on it, clear corner headlights, Cobra style front headlights, Cobra R wheel, the 2000 Cobra R style wheels, and 17-inch fog lights. A lot of cool things. I added the stripes to match Danny Johnson's. I'll have a story about that car later. And then I got my Blue Mach 1, which was my first V8, and as of now it's the longest owned Mustang that I've ever had. I've had this car for over 10 years now. Absolutely love this car. Beautiful car, perfect driver, you know, lower just right, SLP exhaust. The very rare and sought after 17 by 10.5-inch wide wheels. Those are the AFS Mach 1 replica wheels with a 315 wide tire on the back. Lots of really cool stuff. I'll have a story on it too later. Then I got my Bullet, and there is no way I can even start to make a story about this car. I don't even know how I could do this without making it a 6-hour video. This car has been through everything. Beautiful, lower just right, deep dish wheels, supercharged, built engine, absolutely everything done to this car. I do miss it very much. It's in good hands right now. I did sell it as I pursued getting my Torch Red Terminator, which we'll talk about later. But beautiful car, awesome story. It went from zero to hero. This car was sitting neglected when I found it, and this is what it was now. And then we got this 97 Deep Forest Green Mustang GT automatic car. It was mostly used as a parts car. It was a little too far gone for us to fix, but we got it for the engine. But it was my car at one point. Then I bought another True Blue Mustang. It was a GT 2002. And this car had a blown head gasket. I went all the way to California to pick up this car. The guy was in the Marines. He couldn't take care of it anymore. It was billowing smoke with the blown head gasket. I trailered it home, and I mostly used this car to swap the body panels onto my Bullet because my Bullet had a lot of damaged body panels. And this car was a good candidate because instead of paying to have all that repainted on the Bullet, I just swapped it all over. But I did not leave this car like that. I put other body panels on it, and I bought a nice engine for it. And this is one of the nice two-valve engine swaps I've done. I've done a few of them. This engine was out of a police car, and so that's pretty cool. And so I did put that engine back in, and I drove the car and daily drove it for a while, and I really liked it. Nice, very nice car, all stock, basically. And then we have my 2001 Mustang GT, which had an MMR 600 street mod engine in it, which I bought the car for the engine, and I did pull that engine out to put in my Bullet because the Bullet was going to be my race car, and the Bullet was everything that I wanted it to be. But this car I also put a Crown Vic engine in. Really nice low mile engine, and this car only had 50,000 miles on it. Beautiful car. It was in Hawaii, new, and lots of really neat things about it. I have a story about this car. And then we have my friend's GT that got wrecked. I bought it from him, and this is what it looked like. A lady ran a red light in an F-150 and totaled it. And I was starting to part it out, but I didn't have the heart to do it, so I fixed it. And you could see at one point it had mismatching bumper body panels and stuff, but we did get it repainted. This car has been featured on my channel a lot lately, so you've probably seen it, especially if you've been watching a lot of the update videos. My sister owns the car now. My parents bought it from me, and she drove it all through high school, and she's had it since, and it's been a great car. I've done a lot of things lately, you know, new intake manifold, radiator, fuel injector, fuel rails, a lot of stuff like that, fuel pump. And then we have my beautiful 04 40th anniversary Torch Red Mach 1 5-speed car. Awesome car, 165,000 miles, ran perfect. I love that car. I had bought the car because I needed a daily driver, and the Bullet was supercharged and all that stuff, and I was putting a lot of miles on it because my living situation had changed between houses, and I was commuting 40 miles a day, and I wanted a higher mileage Mach 1, and I had it, and I loved it, and that car was awesome. And then I couldn't help but buy this zinc yellow 03 Mach 1 5-speed, awesome car, beautiful, 126,000 miles, but absolutely perfect. Interior was flawless. It was just a very nice car, and I had that one for a while. This actually had the DC heads on it. I don't know how that happened, but the previous owner had put the DC casting heads on it from Ford Racing. Awesome, beautiful car, bright, everything I love. I miss that car a lot. I love the brightness of that yellow. And I had bought a black Bullet in Las Vegas. The owner was going to lose it because he had a title loan on it, and the throwout bearing was frozen to the input shaft, so he couldn't drive it. He had no choice. It was on a title loan. I went down, paid off the loan for $3,000. He gave me the car. I loved it. Sold it to my friend for what I got it for because he said he wanted to keep it. It's a long story. I have a video about it, but anyway, he ended up flipping it, and it was an awesome car though. Beautiful, beautiful car. I also had another True Blue GT. This car actually was True Blue, but the previous owner had repainted it a different color with some purple in it. I did not like that they repainted it. I wish they would have just left it True Blue and ugly with peeling paint instead of that. But anyway, this is what I call the Torque Tech car. This had the Torque Tech system on it, but it wasn't built for it, so I bought this car for the supercharger system to take off and put on my Bullet that was built for it with the MMR engine. But this was a really cool car. I returned it to stock, and I daily drove it for a while. It was a 5-speed car, nice GT. And of course I have my Torch Red 10th anniversary Terminator Cobra. I love this car. This is the reason I sold the other Mach 1s in the Bullet. This was something I've always wanted, and lately you may have seen that I added the Gen 3 2.6 5-liter supercharger from VMP Performance. I really like that system. Nice setup. It's going to be tuned here pretty soon. Love this car. This is one of my dream cars. That's why I have it. And then you might remember my 98 Cobra. This car has a lot of childhood memories. I knew this car since 1999 when it was a year old, and I ended up buying it just because it was for sale, and I wanted to have it for a little while with Danny Johnston. We went in together on it and bought it. It has a lot of history with us as a car that we always enjoyed seeing in our neighborhood growing up, and so that was my car for a little while. And of course, here is my one of 281 Terminator Cobras in competition orange, most beautiful car. This is my dream car along with the torch red Terminator. I love them both about as equally as they can be. Super rare car, love it, low miles, 34,000 miles. And this is just a car that I've really wanted to own, and I've had it since 2014. So beautiful car. You don't see a lot on it. It is a garage queen. All these other cars take a lot of my time, but it is nice to have this car always sitting there in the garage during all my projects, and when I want to get in a really nice car and drive it off, I have this car to do that with. The car has never had the pulley changed on it. It has never had a blower swap. It is mostly stock. It has an exhaust system and a short shifter on it, and that's basically the only thing I want to do with it. As these cars become more rare and more valuable and more sought after, I like how original this one is. And if you've been watching the channel, you've seen this is my 97 Mustang GT that I have just swapped a PI engine into. I did 2 PI engines in it because the first one I bought had a rod knock in it. The car has a huge history. I have a story about the car. But anyway, that's the black 97 GT. I've been doing a lot of updates on this car. I've been doing a lot of little things to it, and I am daily driving it right now. It's automatic, built automatic car actually, and really cool. So this silver GT is really neat. It's another Mustang that I can add to my collection of Mustangs that I've owned over the years. It's something I'm looking forward to putting some love and time into. I love the New Edge Mustangs, of course. And so that's a little bit about me and my cars and the channel and the next project. And I hope you're excited as much as I am about this, and you'll be able to watch the progress of this car just like the other one I did. And stay tuned for more of this car, definitely, along with my stories and my other cars updates. And of course, I want to leave everybody with a big thank you. Everybody has been so nice in the comments. I really enjoy your comments. I read all of them. I've met so many awesome people through this YouTube and through my Instagram, and I just want to thank everybody for the friendship that you have given me, because I really enjoy these cars and I enjoy meeting the people who love the cars like I do. So big thank you to everybody who watches the channel.